Everyone in the church turned to stare when Mia walked down the aisle, stunning in her lace-trimmed white gown, eyes glowing, a soft smile on her lips. But it wasn't just her beauty that held their attention. It was who she was walking toward, a man in a wheelchair with trembling hands and a scar across his jawline. A man society would whisper about, judge, and perhaps even pity. But to Mia, he was the love of her life. Rewind just 1 year earlier, and no one could have imagined this moment. Mia Collins, 27, was the kind of woman who lit up a room without trying. A dedicated nurse at a rehabilitation center in Charlotte, North Carolina, she had always believed in kindness and compassion. But deep down, she longed for more than just doing good for others. She wanted a love that saw her, understood her, and challenged her. She never expected to find that love in room 308. Daniel Reyes had been admitted to her facility 6 months after a car accident that shattered both his legs and paralyzed him from the waist down. Once an athletic, successful architect, Daniel now struggled with basic tasks. But worse than the physical pain was the loss of independence, the shame that weighed him down every time someone offered to help him with things he once did effortlessly. At first, Daniel was withdrawn, cold even. He refused most therapy and often lashed out at staff. Mia, however, saw past the bitterness. She didn't treat him like a patient, she treated him like a person. She cracked jokes, shared stories, and even argued with him when he tried to push her away. "I'm not your charity project," he snapped one day. "And I'm not your punching bag," she shot back without missing a beat. "You want to sit in self-pity? Fine. But don't drag everyone else down with you." He was stunned. No one had spoken to him like that in months. Days passed. Then, slowly, something shifted. Daniel began to participate more in therapy. He started painting, something he hadn't done since college. And he opened up. He told Mia about the accident, how his fiancée had left him in the hospital, saying she couldn't handle the new version of him. How he'd lost not just his legs, but his sense of worth. Mia listened, encouraged, and challenged him. And somewhere along the way, she fell for him. Not out of pity, but out of admiration. His wit, his strength, the way he lit up when he spoke about designing buildings, there was beauty in his resilience. Their connection grew. They spent weekends painting together in the rec room, watched old movies, and eventually started dating. When Mia introduced Daniel to her family, they were shocked, unsure at first. Her father pulled her aside. "Mia, are you sure about this? It's not going to be easy." "I'm not looking for easy," she replied. "I'm looking for real." 9 months later, Daniel proposed. In the art room, on a canvas he had painted himself. It read, "Will you roll with me forever?" She said yes through tears. The wedding planning was met with mixed reactions. Some friends were supportive, but others whispered behind her back. She could have anyone. Why him? Is she doing this out of guilt? Mia ignored them all. She knew what she felt, and she knew Daniel was the one. But Daniel? He struggled more than he let on. Despite his growing confidence, a voice in his head whispered doubts every day. She deserves someone whole. Someone who can stand beside her, not sit. He considered backing out. The night before the wedding, he even asked his best friend and best man, Jordan, "What if I'm holding her back?" Jordan leaned in. "Dan, if you back out, you're not saving her, you're breaking her. She chose you. That means something." And so, the next day, he waited nervously in his wheelchair at the altar. But he had one secret left. As Mia approached, the music swelling, the crowd breathless, she noticed something strange. Daniel was standing. Not completely, not perfectly, but with the help of special braces and 2 canes, he stood at the altar, trembling but upright. Gasps rippled through the room. Mia stopped in her tracks, tears already falling. "You did this, for me?" she whispered when she reached him. "For us," he said, his voice breaking. "I wanted to stand next to you, even if just for a moment." The entire church was in tears. The ceremony continued with love radiating from every corner. When it was time for the kiss, Daniel steadied himself and leaned forward, and they kissed with the kind of passion that only two people who had endured could understand. At the reception, guests came forward one by one, humbled and emotional. Even those who had doubted them now saw the undeniable bond between Mia and Daniel. But the surprises weren't over yet. During the toasts, the DJ announced a video message. The screen lit up with clips from Daniel's former colleagues and clients. Turns out, in secret, Daniel had gone back to designing part-time and had just been offered a major position at a prominent architectural firm willing to accommodate his needs. "You didn't just change my life, Mia," Daniel said into the mic, "you gave it back to me." She ran into his arms, overwhelmed. Their story soon went viral, shared as a testament to the power of love, resilience, and faith. People from around the world sent them letters, thanking them for showing what true partnership looks like. In the months that followed, Daniel continued therapy and became a vocal advocate for accessible design. Mia co-founded a support group for partners of people with disabilities. Together, they traveled, gave talks, and painted side by side in their sunlit home studio. Life wasn't perfect. There were tough days, days of pain, frustration, and tears. But there was also laughter, growth, and an unshakable bond that only deepened with time. Years later, when their daughter asked, "Mommy, why did you marry Daddy?" Mia smiled and said, "Because he stood for love, even when it was hard. And he made me feel seen, strong, and endlessly loved." And Daniel, still with a cane but with that same spark in his eye, added, "And because your mom is the most stubborn, beautiful soul I've ever met." Their story wasn't about a nurse falling for a patient or a man rising from a wheelchair. It was about choosing love every single day, no matter how difficult, no matter what others thought. And that's the kind of love that lasts.